think of when you think of theme parks? Who is the man who revolutionized cartoons and even created a whole branch of motion pictures? Who came up with the first full-length feature film and cartoon, Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs? Walt Disney did a lot in the world of entertainment, and the impression he has left on our country, and even the world, has lasted long after his life. Walter Elias Disney was born on December 5, 1901 in Chicago. He was one of 5 children, having 3 brothers and 1 sister, and he was the son of Elias and Flora Disney. Early in his life, his family moved to a farm in Marceline, Missouri, and they stayed there until the failure of the farm in 1911. They then moved to Kansas City, and this is where Walt first learned to draw and had an interest in it. He would draw things relating to nature and wildlife and sell them to his neighbors to make money. In 1917, Walt and his family returned to Chicago. While there, Walt drew cartoons for his high school yearbook, and he even started taking classes at the Art Institute of Chicago to refine his skills and improve. By the time he was 16, Disney tried to enlist in the Army. However, he was too young and rejected. Instead, he decided to travel to France, and he became an ambulance driver for the American Ambulance Corps in World War I. After his return to the U.S. in 1920, he got a job in Kansas City, Missouri, in a commercial art studio. Here, he worked in an ad company and realized he had a love for animation. He created an animation reel called Laugh-O-Grams here. By 1921, Walt was forced to declare bankruptcy for the company. At age 21, Walt then picked up and moved to Hollywood with less than $40 to his name. Here, Disney and his brother Roy established the Disney Brothers Studio. They first created Alice cartoons, and they had to deal with a distributor in New York. Walt also coined the character Oscar the Lucky Rabbit and contracted shorts involving him at $1,500 each. However, after only 2 years, distributor Margaret Winkler and her husband had stolen the rights to Oswald in most of his animations. It was also during this tough time that Disney married his ink and paint artist, Lillian Bounds. Walt immediately launched a character he had been working on, Mickey Mouse. He quickly released the first 2 short films, Plane Crazy and The Galloping Gaucho, which were both silent films. When sound made its way into film, Disney quickly released Steamboat Willie, which had sound and music. Shortly following in 1920, Disney created Silly Symphonies. This is where more of the Disney characters we know today came into play, such as Minnie Mouse, Donald Duck, Goofy, and Pluto. This film, Flowers and Trees, won him an Oscar. After the success of his film, Walt Disney earned for more. In 1937, he released the first full-length animated film, Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, and it premiered in Los Angeles on December 21st. According to JustDisney.com, it was an immediate success, and it made a huge sum of $1.499 million. This was a substantial amount, especially because of the Great Depression. This won 8 Oscars total, and has inevitably created the first Disney princess. After this first film success, he created Pinocchio, Fantasia, Dumbo, and Bambi over the next 5 years. He opened a campus of Walt Disney Studios in Burbank, and by 1961, Alice in Wonderland, Peter Pan, Cinderella, Treasure Island, Lady and the Tramp, Sleeping Beauty, and 101 Dalmatians were the other motion pictures released from Walt Disney Studio, and these were only some out of over 100 total. This made Disney one of the first to use television as an entertainment medium. He also released television series such as The Zorro and Davy Crockett and The Mickey Mouse Club, which featured teenage Mouseketeers that hosted the show. Also during this time of major success, Disney opened the original $17 million theme park, Disneyland, in the summer of 1955. As said on Biography.com, this brought many of Disney's concepts and animations to life, and over time it became an international success. Theme parks in Europe, Tokyo, and Hong Kong ultimately opened as well. He was starting to create a theme park in Orlando called the Experimental Prototype Community of Tomorrow, ultimately opened as Epcot, when in 1966 Disney was diagnosed with lung cancer. He died on December 15, 1966, before the completion of the park, according to WaltDisney.org. His brother, Roy, oversaw the completion of the theme park, which opened under the name Walt Disney World in 1971. This original park branched off into Magic Kingdom, Hollywood Studios, Epcot, and Animal Kingdom, along with Disney resorts, water parks, other branches worldwide, and the legacy that Disney left behind is still growing today. Although Disney came from humble beginnings, he revolutionized animation and left behind a company that still entertains people of all ages and will probably continue for generations to come.